Hello everyone, I am Professor Mallikarjun Aute, working as an assistant professor in Mechanical Engineering Department at NK Orchid College of Engineering and Technology, Solapur. Today we are dealing with the topic ergonomics. Then we will see what exactly the ergonomics is. Generally, a machine is considered as an entity itself, but in actual practice, the machine, man means the person who is working on the machine, also called as an operator, machine, and the working environment form the systems, and this system is needed to be considered as a single unit. Means generally what exactly we does is machine itself or a single machine is considered as an entity itself, but actually the person who is working on the machine, that machine itself, and also the working environment that will form a system, and this entire system is considered as a single unit. The components of ergonomics are: first component is anatomy and physiology, and generally it deals with structure and function of the human body, senses, and also the mental processes. These are coming under anatomy and physiology. Then anthropometry, it deals with information on the body size, field of the movement, field of view, speed of responses, and forces that can be exerted. Means here in case of anthropometry, information of the body size means the distance between the joints, what is the head dimension, what the standard palm or hand size is, etc. Okay, so all this data is covered in the anthropometry, and also it deals with content like how much a person or a hand can exert a force on a particular equipment, etc. All these are covered under the anthropometry. Then psychology deals with knowledge of brain, nervous system, and human behavior, and also the conditions that aid efficiency and comfort and avoid fatigue. So these are the components of ergonomics. Now what exactly the definition of ergonomics is, that we will see now. Ergonomics is the relationship between man and machine and the application of anatomical, physiological, and psychological principles to solve the problems arising from man-machine relationship. Okay, so what ergonomics is? It is a relationship between man and machine, and what we are doing, we are using these anatomical, physiological, and psychological principles to solve the problem which are arising from the man-machine relationship. That is nothing but the ergonomics. The word ergonomics is coined from two Greek words, that is nothing but ergon and nomos. So combination of ergon and nomos uh, will coin a word called as a ergonomics. So ergon is nothing but, meaning of it is work, and nomos means natural laws. And now the ergonomics means the natural laws of the work. So whenever we are designing the equipments for human use, it is important to realize that the man has only limited powers. Hence, designer should design the machine should suit man's health, happiness, and effectiveness. Right? Means if a designer is using a concept of ergonomics, so he has to design the machine in such a way that that machine should suit the man's health, happiness, and effectiveness. In short, in simple words, I will say like this: the man should not adjust himself according to the machine. He should design the machine as per the comfort level and effectiveness level of a man, right? So we should not adjust according to the machine. We have to adjust the machine according to our comfort and effectiveness. So that exactly the idea behind ergonomics. So there is one more definition for ergonomics: a systematic study of relationship between people, their occupation, equipment, work environment. See here, study of relationship between people, their occupation, equipment on which they are working, and the environment in which they are working, that is called as the work environment, for the purpose of increasing the human efficiency and removing features of design which tends to cause inefficiency or physical disability. That is nothing but the definition of ergonomics, or we will just try to interpret what this definition is. So here we are dealing with the relationship between people and their occupation, equipment, and the environment in which they are working, right? So also what we will do, we will try to remove some features which will cause inefficiency and physical disability, and the combination of and the study of this is called as a ergonomics. Now we will see what is the importance of ergonomics in design. So it decreases physical and mental stresses. So ergonomics will help us to decrease the physical stress as well as the mental stress. It helps to study the man-machine relationship. Okay, means whether the person who is working on the machine, whether he is comfortable, whether he can work on that machine very effectively, right? Then working environment that can be improved to increase the human efficiency. Sometimes what happen, the man and the machine, they it will be okay, means they are working, the person who is working on the machine and machine is working very well, that is okay, but at the same time we have to also consider the environment in which that person is working on the machine. So if we'll increase or we'll improve the environment, so that we can also boost the human efficiency or the efficiency of a person who is working on that particular machine. The next point is reliability, safety, etc. can be improved on low cost effective basis. So we can improve reliability and safety if we will follow ergonomics in the design, and it can be done on low cost effective basis. So I have just sorted out, or I have just picked up the important points in case of ergonomics. The next point is anthropometrics. So what is that? We will see. Generally, anthropometric deals with the study of human body and its movements. And study of human body and its movements, often involving the research into measurements relating to the people. Okay, so human body and its movement means here the dimensions of the human body is taken, and also we are concentrating on the movements of parts of the body of a human. So what it involves? It involves collecting the statistics or measurements relevant to the human body. It is called as an anthropometric data. Means collecting measurements means like just like distance between the joints, what is the dimension of a foot, what is the dimension of a palm, right? What exactly the height is, what should be the standard weight. All these are coming under the anthropometric data. I have just given an example. So we will see what exactly anthropometric measurements includes. So it includes weight, height, body mass index, which also known as BMI, body circumference. It includes arm, waist, hip, and calf. And it also includes waist to hip ratio, WHR, elbow amplitude, and knee heel length. So generally these are the measurements which are included in the anthropometry. Now we will see what are the different types of anthropometry. So the first type is static or structural anthropometry. Means the name itself indicates the measurements taken when the body is in static condition. It includes skeletal dimension, means joint to joint dimensions or measurements, maximum body width, data available on most characteristics of the body. So all these are coming under the static or structural anthropometry. The second type is dynamic or dynamic function anthropometry. So name itself indicates that the measurements are taken in the dynamic condition or when the body is in motion. The distances are measured when the body is in motion or engaged in a physical activity. So measurements are taken while the body is engaged in some kind of activity. Okay, at that when the body is engaged in some kind of activity, at that time whatever the dimensions are taken or measurements are taken, those are coming under dynamic functional anthropometry. Examples are like driving a car or working at a desk. Now the next concept that we will see, 5th percentile and 95th percentile as far as anthropometric data is concerned. So for that we have to study this particular curve. So I will say on the x-axis there is a height, okay, and on the y-axis frequency of occurrence of people of certain height, okay, and you can see it's just like a bell distribution curve. So here if I will start from here, the value will be around 0, then it is going to increase, again it is going to decrease, okay, or the value is here at some distances. The distance which covered on the left hand side is called as the 5th percentile. The central portion is called as the 50th percentile or average or mean, and on the extreme right hand side in this region, this is nothing but the 95th percentile. Okay, so 5% of the user of population are in this area, and here 5% of the user population is in this area. Means exactly what? So see here, so this is regarding occurrence of people of a certain height. So generally the most common range is this, means the region here, this region. So in this region the people are having the common height. Okay, generally all the people are having certain height, and the 90% of the peoples are covered, the 90% of the people are covered in this range. Okay, so this region is called as a 50th percentile, average or mean. But there are some people who are having height less than the given range, who are having height less than the given range. So suppose I will consider this region. There are some, if I will say the 90% of the population falls in this zone who are having average heights, okay, but there are 5% of people who are having height less than this particular height. They are having height less than the particular height, means one person in 20 is having height very less than the given height. And again on the right hand side of this 50th percentile there are some people who are having height more than the given height, means these are also the people having population 5%. Okay, means what, one person in a 20 is having height more than the given height, so they are falling in this range. So this is called as the 5th percentile, means the person who are having height less than the given value, and the persons who are having height more than the given height or more than the given value. So those are called as 95th percentile, who are having height more than the given value, and there are persons who are having height less than the given value, those are coming under 5th percentile. So this is nothing but the 5th or 95th percentile. We will see now. To the left of the average there is a point known as a 5th percentile, means this point. Now I will show, means this point left of this average, because 5% of the people or one person in 20 is shorter than a particular height. Suppose a particular height is given, so there are 5% of the people who are having height shorter than this particular height. So this is a particular height, and these are the 5% of the people who are having height shorter than the particular height. So these are known as 5%, 5th percentile. And same distance to the right hand side of the average. Okay, so here also This particular region is known as a 95th percentile to the right of the average, means this region where I have drawn the lines by green color. So here there is only one person in 20 taller than this height. So this is a particular height. So there are 5% of people who are having height taller than this height, or one person in a 20 is taller than this height. So this is called as a 95th percentile, and rest of the 90% are in the average range. Okay. Now we will see the usage of this 5th percentile and 95th percentile in the principles of application of anthropometric data. So first principle is design for extremes of individuals or the population. So here first one is maximum, means we are looking for the maximum range like automobile interiors, escape batches or doorways. And minimum means what should be the minimum applied force, or what should the minimum reaching distance. And most of the design covers 5th through 95th percentile. And what is that? Just now we have seen. Okay, means this covers the 90% of the population, 5th to 95th percentile. Most of the designs are applicable for them only. Next one is design with an adjustable range. So here we can adjust the range, like design should fit 5th through 95th percentile of a relevant population. That is absolutely valid. And design for the average versus design for the extreme, means there are some principles where we have to design for the average people, means for 90% of the people, and sometimes we have to design for the extreme, means either we have to design for 5th percentile, means those that are having body dimensions or height less than the average height, or for those 95th or those 5% of the people or 95th percentile which are having height more than the average height. And like case studies are like seat height, letter height and countertops. Variability of population. So anthropometric measurements are generally function of age, gender, nationality, user type and several other factors. Okay, so these are the principles in the application of anthropometric data. These principles we have to consider. Okay, some examples of anthropometric data like measurement of an ear, you can see here, and also the measurement of a palm of an hand. So if I will apply this case study of measurement of palm of a hand, I can deal with the dimensions or design of a mouse, okay, which we use with the computer or laptops. Also earphones, it deals with the measurement of an ear. Okay. One more very interesting, cricket bats in different sizes according to the age group. Like if you'll see, you might have seen up to age group of 8 or 9, the size of the bat is different. Again 10 to 8 to 12, the size is different. 20 to 15, the size is different. Means the sizes of the bats are manufactured according to the age group, because for those particular age group there are some standard body dimensions, and according to those body dimensions the bats are manufactured in different sizes according to their age groups. Chairs. Okay, so as far as chairs are concerned, the most important parameter is waist to hip ratio that has been taken for different age groups or different body dimensions, and accordingly the chairs are designed. So here we can see a case study or a figure in which there are uses of body dimension, and accordingly their distances has been accordingly their comfort zone or the standard region or environment of working has been mentioned. Like for a person who is viewing on a screen, the distance should be in the range of 19 to 24. This should be the viewing angle. The angle between the arm and the elbow, it should be 90 degree. Okay, the distance between knees to the particular floor should be in the range of 23 to 28. And again here, if the height is less, then we can use a footrest, or sometimes we can adjust the height of this chair as well. So all these are nothing but the combinations of anthropometric data and also the ergonomic condition when the person is working on a particular machine. So areas covered under ergonomics are, First one is communication between man and machine. Just now we have seen the example of a woman who was working on the computer. Again, working environment, it also plays very vital role. Like the person who is working on a machine, she should be working in a environment which should be comfortable for him, so that his or her efficiency will be increased. Human anatomy, third one is human anatomy posture while using the machine. This is also very important. If person is using a proper posture while he working on the machine, so that he will have a less fatigue and he will utilize his all the energy on the while working. Okay. Again, energy expenditure in hand and foot operation. So all these are the parameters which are covered under ergonomics.